once upon a time, at around 3,500 BC, the human race had managed to develop intricate writing systems. The Egyptians forged hieroglyphics, the Mesopotamians cuneiform, and so on. But the main issue the people of these ancient empires faced was how to keep these complex systems alive. They were worried that unless this knowledge was passed down, it would soon be completely forgotten. Hence, they decided that it was to be compulsory for children to learn these systems, and when their time came, they would have to teach it to the next generation of children. This was quite possibly the first system of education ever. Over time, education evolved into more than just language and came to include arithmetic, religion, and even literature. However, learning was not easy by any means. If a student made an error of whatever kind, no matter the magnitude, he was whipped, or perhaps worse. The people of these ancient dynasties believed that you only learned something if the lesson was reinforced with a beating. As my grandfather used to say, spare the rod and spoil the child. Fast forward thousands of years to modern day education, and believe it or not, very little is different. There are still schools, there are still grades, there are still subjects, and there are still punishments for mistakes. Back then, all those years ago, teachers would expect students to learn at the same speed and reach the same level. If not, they were whipped. And guess what? It is still the exact same today. Now, hear me out. Teachers still expect students to learn at the same speed and reach the same level. And the whipping still exists, not in a physical sense, but mentally instead. By receiving grades, students are being unfairly compared and their progress marked. This means that the focus of education is not learning. Instead, students are interested solely in grades. This completely destroys the passion that students may otherwise have. Students are not machines. They cannot be programmed to be content. They cannot be programmed to be perfect. Instead of being appreciated for the effort they're putting in and the passion they're displaying, they're instead graded on their ability to retain knowledge. Academic pressure acts as a primary catalyst for stress and ultimately depression. A survey conducted this year states that over 20% of teenagers in the United States of America are clinically depressed due to academic pressure. Not only are they under tremendous pressure from themselves, but they're also under tremendous pressure from their parents to perform well. And the fact that their grades and their efforts are compared with their classmates leads me to wonder why this number isn't any higher. Despite all those millennia, the academic system has hardly changed. Despite the fact that students are no longer accustomed to physical beating for mistakes, they still feel the pain of academics.